Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Living in London back again. If you haven't already, follow me on my Instagram. It's living_in_LDN. It's all lowercase. Give your boy a follow because we're nearly at 8,000, but it's taking a bit of time, people. It really bloody is. Anyway, this one's a sad story. It's been in the news for the last couple of weeks and months. When the first story hit, it was a shock to everyone, you know, because these type of things you hear in America, you may see on the TV in another country, but you don't really associate it with England. But yet here we are in the 21st century, year 2023, and the crimes are getting more shocking and the sentences are getting bigger and bigger. And people just don't seem to learn. They don't just seem to have the foresight. And it seems to be mostly criminals these days. But anyway, let's get into today's story, people. It's Thomas Cashman. Is it Thomas Cashman? Let me get his name right. Old Cashman, the geezer that killed that poor young girl, man. Really, it would have been better if I got the name before I bloody done the video, you know what I mean? But anyway, we're talking about old Cashman, the old scouser that thought he was bloody in a Western movie, and he had 2 guns on him, like Yosemite Sam. Remember back in the day, Yosemite Sam? I'ma give me that rabbit. But this fucking idiot, you know, there's nothing funny about him. This guy is another lost soul. And it's sad, really. We're going to break this video down into a few different bits, people. So the first bit, let's talk about this arsehole, and let's talk about what's on everyone's mind, really. That this guy, Thomas Cashman, definitely got what... Is it Thomas Cashman? God damn it, man. If it ain't Thomas, whatever his name is anyway, it's Cashman. He definitely got what he deserved, you know? Because a crime like that, a crime so heinous like that, it's like, how much time do you give someone? Like, what sentences is appropriate? You know, especially because in England, we don't have guns like that. So to be letting them off and shooting randomly and wildly into someone else's house when you can't even see your target is just crazy to the normal person like me and you know. But luckily they locked this bastard up. But anyway, let's talk about him. This is an emotional guy that's so angry that wants to get his own back by any means necessary. He don't care who he hurts and what he has to destroy. Even if that's his own life. Even if that's the life of innocent young kids or mothers trying to protect their children, you know? So someone like this little scumbag needs every day of prison that he's been sentenced to. And if you didn't know, it's like 45 years in prison, you know? And that's a big sentence for England. You don't really normally hear those. Normally it'd be like 30, 35. But because of the innocent girl, because of all the aggravating features, he definitely deserved it. But this is an unstable man, people. Andrew Tate talked about it. You know, these emotional men. And I'm not putting it on women here. I'm not saying women are to blame in any way. But, you know, like, if there's not men in the household, if there's not a mother and father in the household, usually the kid will take... The mother has to do the man's job. And normally, a woman's reaction is emotional. And women are raising a lot of emotional men. You know, the family household is broken up. I don't even chat to my baby mum. I ain't seen my kids in a little while. So I'm saying this, knowing everything and being a part of that situation myself, you know? So it's definitely not easy, and I'm not putting the blame on anyone apart from this guy Cashman who had the 2 guns and was shooting like a fucking idiot, you know? And what could it have been over? What was so serious and pressing that this guy Cashman had to go nearly kill this other guy Nee, but then somehow the gun jammed and then Nee got his way into the house and done what he did, you know? Tried to get away, and Cashman ended up just, Cashman didn't even know what was going on. He was just trying to get his arm round the door as the door's being pushed on him, and he's just shooting random. Why the fuck would you do that? What type of arsehole are you? Like, I bet he wasn't even on no drugs, and he didn't even go to the trial. I mean, he went to the trial to try and defend himself. When he got found guilty, he didn't go to the sentencing. You know, he didn't let the family have their say, have their impact statements. Someone like this is a cockroach weasel. And I hope he gets all the hard pressure and all the other stuff in jail like a nonce would get. Because this is my second part of it. Because when you think about criminals, when you think about some people try to hide this person, they try to, they maybe knew of what he'd done, but because of the criminal code of you shouldn't snitch, because of the criminal supposed moral code that people just kept their silence, you know. But I want to ask you this. Now, we all know criminals don't like rapists, child sexual criminals or anything like that, anything to do with sex or young children. But I'm going to ask a tough question because I've thought about it today and I had to answer it to myself. So I want you to answer it. And it's not a nice question, but it's a question that is relevant, you know? If you had a choice and you got to answer in like a split second, yeah? Because that's how long it took for fucking Cashman to wipe out this girl. If you had a choice for your child to be shot and killed by some angry drug dealer who's running around trying to kill another criminal scumbag, yeah, would you prefer that fate for your child, or would you prefer a nonce to have their way with your child, and then obviously your child goes back to you? Now it's a disgusting and horrible situation. You wouldn't want to pick either of them, but if you had to, I'm sure we all know what we would have to pick, and it's the one where your child comes back to you, you know? So then we have to say, all right, cool. So is this guy Cashman worse than a nonce? Is he worse than a nonce? Yes or no? We have to ask these questions because we have to get to the answers, people. And if you're saying he is, or he's on the same level, or whatever, then you have to say to yourself, well, this guy only became worse than a nonce or on the same level as a nonce when a certain situation happened. So before that, he may have been a drug dealer. He may have been one of the boys in the ends. He may have been one of the chaps. Wait, Ella, stop. He's got Ted, he's just going mad for it. No, sit. Sorry about that. Ella, sit. So anyway, with this guy Cashman now, like he could have been one of the boys easily. It doesn't mean that just because he killed this young girl, that he's a child killer, that he's all this other stuff. No, he's a criminal. And this is what happens when you're in a criminal life. So much stuff that you don't see coming. So much unforeseen victims and all the other stuff that are just part in the way or whatever the situation is. But it never ever normally pans out. And even if Cashman did find this guy knee and he did shoot him up, he still would have got caught anyway. The game is rigged now. For criminals, it is over. They are using EncroChat, or they were using EncroChat and all the other stuff. Now all the people that were using EncroChat are bloody in prison. Mostly snitching on each other and all the other stuff. So I'm telling you people that this guy Cashman was just a normal criminal. He was a normal criminal following the criminal rules and doing what criminals do. But that led to this girl getting killed. So what I'm asking you now is, how do we see criminals? How do we value them in our society? Because it's all good, yeah, he shouldn't snitch, yeah, but me and my boys, all this other stuff, until some real shit happens. Then some real shit happens, all of a sudden we got to evaluate the situation for what it is. And normally it's young kids, young people getting killed that don't even deserve it, that haven't even done anything wrong, that are just at the end of an ignorant person's actions, you know? And it's fucked up and it's sad. So what I'm trying to say to you is, this Cashman, he's no better than a nonce, mate. And anyone protecting him, any one of his boys out there in Liverpool, anything like that, anyone who's working on behalf of that guy Cashman is a fucking wronging in my eyes. And that is where you give the word nonce properly. You don't just throw it around on the internet and on YouTube when you're beefing someone. You actually give it to someone when they actually deserve it. And someone like Cashman, even though I wouldn't say Cashman's a child killer, even though he's killed a child, before he killed the child, I wouldn't say he had any intentions of doing it. I wouldn't say he would even agree with a child being killed. It doesn't matter though. None of that matters anymore, because part of the criminal life, you did what you had to do. But the consequences of that were a young girl getting killed. Now, a nonce does what he does, and there's always a victim at the end of it. And there's always going to be someone. And criminals do what they do, and it's not necessarily an innocent person, an innocent girl. Sometimes it's another criminal, whatever. But on the odd occasion where it is an innocent girl, then that criminal, that drug dealer, whatever he is, whatever the situation is, he's no better than a nonce. And people out there on the roads, people out there who don't necessarily, who stick to the street codes. I'm not a street guy no more. I don't stick to them codes. I think they're stupid. I think they're destructive to the community, and they don't help nobody. And you criminals out there don't even stick to them. You only stick to them when you're telling your mates and that and everyone around you, don't snitch, don't snitch. When you're in that interview room and your freedom's on the line and no one knows what you're saying behind closed doors, I guarantee you're not keeping it 100. You're not thinking about your boys. It's a dirty game, people. It really, really is. And you get players like Cashman that don't have the brain capacity to play the game properly and end up killing a little kid. You know, I'm so glad I'm not a criminal. I'm so glad I'm not part of that world. And another thing as well, Cashman's girlfriend. She was scared and feared for her freedom, and she's gone into hiding because she gave evidence and done the right thing and the stand-up thing and bloody told the police that Cashman, like basically that Cashman was lying, he did it and all the other stuff because he went to her house afterwards. But now that girl is hiding and in fear of her life. So not only an innocent girl was murdered, not only her mum was shot, but now this girl who was mixed up with some arsehole, aka Cashman, and then now she does the right thing, and now people are trying to put pressure on her because she's done that. Listen, that bird's out there, whatever your name is. Hit me up on Instagram. Anyone from Liverpool pressuring you, give me their names. I'll blow them up all over social media. Pictures and everything. Fucking nonce protectors, the lot of them. Well, shout out to my real Liverpool G's that don't stand for this. And I'm going to give this guy the most horrible time in jail. Because it don't matter what he was before, if he was one of the boys and all the other shit. It's what he's done. And what he's done is killed an innocent kid in front of her mum in the safety of her own house. And that ain't gangster, and that ain't real, and that ain't fucking nothing but noncy behaviour. Anyway, people, it's your boy living in London. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Give you a little live on the weekend. Love you. Peace. I'm out.